Happy New Year and welcome to another episode of Dulcimerica. My name is Futch. I'm taking a short break from refurbing Rita, the Winnebago, to show you a cool little tune that you can play all night long, baby. This is an all-nighter. It's one that you can kind of trance out on, and I love those tunes. It's called Down the River. Some people call it Uncle Joe. It's got lyrics to it. I don't know all the lyrics, but the main part is down the river I go, Uncle Joe, down the river I go. Now it's an easy song to play, and it's just another great example of how the mountain dulcimer lends itself well to simple tunes that can give you literally hours of enjoyment, because just sitting back and playing this little tune makes a lot of people very, very happy. Let me show you how it goes. The basic rhythm I'm using in the background here is kind of a catch-all for me. I call it 1, 2, banana, 3, 4, banana. 1, 2, banana, 3, 4, banana, 1, 2, banana, 3, 4, banana. That's the root of it. There's other stuff going on that you can throw in beats, take out beats, and keep it simple. But it's got that sort of a boom, boom, ba-da-da, boom, boom, ba-da-da, boom, boom. Little kind of a gallopy thing going on. I am strumming across all the strings, but what I really like to do is that boom boom I can use to get in there for melodies, so I'm focusing my strum here on the melody and middle strings. And then the banana part is happening a lot on the middle and the bass string. So if I have a note that is sustaining on the melody string, I'm not chopping it with extra melody. I'm letting it kind of go off and do its thing while I can play on the other two strings. Hi, O'Malley. Hi. You'll probably see a lot of kittens in this particular episode. Okay, so we're going to start off by going down from the 5th fret. Actually, we're going to walk up. Walk up from the 4th fret to the 6th fret. Down to the 5th, and then this little part here goes. So it's 4, 4, 5, 4, 3, 1, back up to 4. 4, 4, 5, 4, 3, 1, 4. So you'll be doing some bouncing back and forth between the 1 and the 3. Some people hear it as the 2, and maybe that's true somewhere, but most of the versions I hear of this tune are talking about the G and E right there. So once again, walking up. Repeat. And that time you're going to go down to O. So it's 4, 4, 5, 4, 3, 1, and then go to the open. That's the A section. So like this with our 1, 2 banana thing going on. You see how that banana strum helps you in not messing with the melody. The melody's hanging out there nice and long, and that's what you want to hear. So instead of going like this, you're going to try and strum for the middle and the bass string, so you get this. It's a starting point so that later on you can really double up the melody notes if you want to. But it's nice to have that melody kind of arcing nice and peacefully over the top of the rhythms we've got going on. Now we go to the down the river I go, Uncle Joe, in the B part, and that's going like this. Again, course, I'm trying to get that melody string to match up the lyrics. Down the river I go, Uncle Joe. Down the river I go, Uncle Joe. Down the river I go. Down the river I go, Uncle Joe. Down the river I go. Back to the A part. B part. The fingering convention I use is pretty much the one I always use, which is 2 fingers and a thumb. And that 2 fingers and a thumb will help you do everything that you need to do, man. I tell you what. You can move up and down the fretboard very nicely. And you can use these 3 fingers. You can use all 4 fingers. But these 2 will come in handy because the thumb gives you a really big melodic reach. And so I think of this as first position, open through the 3rd fret, and then the 4th fret through 7th fret as the second position. And you can cover them both with just 2 fingers and a thumb. For the first position, it's... And for the second position, it's... Slide the thumb up to catch that last bit. So you can get an entire D major scale coming up that way. Take some practice to make it seamless, but it's very, very advisable to use 3 fingers, 2 fingers and a thumb, or the 3 fingers like this. So you'll see me hopping back around, like for example, hopping from the G to the E. You see I'm not using fingers in sequence, I'm using the thumb and the middle finger to go back and forth. Why? Because I'm so used to using the thumb on the 3rd fret and the middle finger on the 1st fret. And that index finger typically is where I go to for my 2nd fret action. Since I'm not using the 2nd fret right there, I'm skipping over it and just using those 2 fingers. Those 2 digits, if you will. So we're trying to be consistent as much as possible. So you get in the habit of using certain fingers for certain frets. Now that will change depending on your arrangement, but for real easy stuff like this, it's a good practice to stay consistent. Let's go ahead and play through it again, and I'll show you how to throw some extra harmonies in there. And your fingers sometimes will dance and do a little bit of a different thing, and that's fine. Here we go. All night long, baby. Okay, so now we put some harmony in here. Harmony is coming by way of the middle string, so we're doing the same action on the melody string coming up here. And we're going to lay in a harmony note on the middle string, just 2 frets towards the nut. So right there at the 4th fret on the middle string. What we're playing here is a partial C chord. Since this is a modal tune, and we are using the C in the melody, it seems natural that we would also use a C major chord in the piece. But because we're droning the bass string, we're not completing that C chord, which would then go to a G chord, and then to your D. But we're not playing the full chord, we're just playing a partial chord in that we're leaving the bass string alone. So we're playing a partial C here, partial G, so we're going to slide down, that's where our melody note is, that's where our harmony note is going to be, 3rd fret middle string, and then you can take your finger off the middle string and do come back to the top, melody note, 6th fret, middle string for your harmony note for your partial C chord. Slide the whole thing down. One more time. Into your chorus. Down the river I go, Uncle Joe. Down the river I go. Down the river I go, Uncle Joe. Down the river I go. Harmonies. B. One more time. And there you have Down the River, or Uncle Joe, or Down the River I Go, or Down the River I Go, Uncle Joe. It's folk music. It's probably called many, many different things, but it is definitely delicious, and you can play it all night long. And this is the first time, I believe, that I've had Woody on my lap since the incident. Just want to show you all the beautiful new friends he's got there on the back. Folkcraft, of course, did a fantastic job treating him well because they made him after all. And he sounds wonderful and looks just as wonderful as he ever did, even more wonderfully so. I want to thank everybody at Folkcraft for being so good to me since 2008. I also want to congratulate Richard Ash and the staff for a recent anniversary, having been the owners and operators of Folkcraft Instruments since back in the days of Milford, Connecticut, now in Woodburn, Indiana, making fine musical instruments and having a blast with festivals and special clinics throughout the year. In fact, coming up at the end of this month, we've got our second annual Florida Gulf Coast Dulcimer Retreat. Folkcraft is the sponsor. They'll be down there. Richard will be there with instruments. Guy George, Sherry George, and myself will all be teaching in the Florida sun. If you are looking forward to getting out of that cold where you're at, come join us for a heck of a lot of fun on the banks of the Homosassa River. Speaking of river music, there's still time to join us. You can look online at Florida Gulf Coast Dulcimer Retreat.blogspot.com or look us up on Facebook. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is Big Futch saying thanks for watching.